decided they're not all in on this partnership, so and this was his reason for like, I'm going to.
Hans Niemann didn't cheat over the board. And if he ever has, there's no evidence of cheating during round 3 of the 2022 Sinkfeld Cup. Several points to cover. Let's start with I'm human. I go back in time. I fly to another dimension and make this right. Kill all this mental tension that makes me fight. It's the only way I know I'ma be alright tonight. The butterfly effect only made this. The butterfly effect only made this. The butterfly effect only made this. The butterfly effect only let me go back in time. I fly to another dimension. My brain does that periodically. Most are familiar with the butterfly effect unless you're too boomer. If you're too boomer, don't worry about things we can't control. It happened. It didn't happen. I was wrong. I was right. We're all human, especially if I'm over a lot of people in a position of power. I've earned it, and we all make mistakes. So fuck your career, kid. What's the butterfly effect? Rick and Morty? What's Rick and Morty? I don't have time for cartoons. I'm too busy winning in business. I've got to stomp on throats, but my family, my faith. And I just want to make sure God's proud of me. At any time, I can inspire others to follow Jesus Christ. Hey, do the stockholders approve this message? Stockholders, I only report to Jesus. Oh, did the board hear that? Because you're fucking fired now. And family values. Let's talk about family values. So, okay, butterfly effect. Rick and Morty. Isn't that something that those drugged up Gen Z kids watch? You mean your fucking customers? Many are sober, working jobs, raising families. Just want to watch some Rick and Morty. I'm going to have a fucking field day with this. What's the other term? Rick and Morty. I watched it with my friend Sean. It was hilarious. Simulation theory. Yeah, simulation theory. That's a funny episode and interesting. You know, a lot of those directors and influential people in South Park and other popular kind of dark comedy shows, they were probably too smart to fit in from a young age, or like Lil Dicky was doing fine in the corporate world in marketing. So like, this isn't for me, and I don't get along. At least I had to try to get along. I'm not them. So they couldn't find a home. At some point in their life, they had to make that decision. Or they got found out and got chased out the door. And they had to branch out and create their own path. We can learn a lot from those episodes and those brains. We can also learn about the risks of being different. But the butterfly effect is a concept that one small change, one slightly different decision, one movie I watched, it might have been called The Butterfly Effect. I remember while time traveling, basically, these time travelers altered some part of land in, I forgot what period, but basically they fucked things up while dinosaurs were alive. They changed one thing. They didn't kill a dinosaur. They weren't God. They weren't pulling strings to rewrite the rules of the universe. or nature. It's just like one piece of grass or something minor. Not one piece of grass. Maybe now I'm freeballing. I don't remember the movie, but let's say that one piece of grass, or that one patch of land. Dinosaurs were eating or living there, and they couldn't do that anymore, so they had to go somewhere else. Well, then this dinosaur couldn't find food, or died, or had to, change to survive. And now the dinosaurs become kind of different, and eventually, that one little change just creates a series of events that leads to a totally different universe today because of only one minor change. Vastly different and unpredictable outcomes. It's not comfortable to see the world that way, but it's probably not entirely wrong. My stance, if you are in a position of power, yeah, of course you deserve respect. Of course, there's a hierarchy for a reason, and rules exist for a reason. But I don't like the whole, oh, well, because the butterfly effect is a tough pill to swallow, especially for older, back in my day type thinkers, because it's also kind of implying luck is a major factor. Didn't catch that one break, didn't meet that one person, one mentor. You were born at the wrong time. Then you're possibly a complete loser. And that's not a comfortable pill to swallow. That's the butterfly effect. And it would definitely create a kinder, more fair world to view life through the lens of the butterfly effect. Now, the H-1b visa. H-1b visa is at the top of the news, as it was during most of my career in corporate tech. The H-1b visa states, in order to open up a search abroad for the best and brightest foreign talent that benefits America, a corporation has to prove they searched and could not find qualified and willing to work Americans. This is not my opinion. Liberal, conservative, racist, not racist, tech background, not. It is simply the fucking law. Now, whether that law has been enforced strictly, whether corporations have found ways to get away with it, whether one corporation is doing it or all are, I don't know. I just know what the fucking law says. But I know it is not legal if we are enforcing the law for a consultancy firm, sometimes not based in America, to vet experts. An American Fortune 500 company signs a contract with that firm to temporarily work with their experts, often under the understanding those experts are training Americans. Not that Americans are less competent or might even be more skilled in tech sometimes. They understand the product. Like go to college. Some students will eventually outshine teachers. Not all. We don't go to college with the belief every teacher is our superior. They're better than us. The teachers don't come in with that mindset towards students either. They're teaching us, they're more experienced. They might not even be better in all fields, but they're better at that right now. And they help us. But if those H-1b visa holders can get away from the consultancy firm and into an American corporation. Now they don't have to travel. It's a better chance of citizenship. Families get to see mom, dad, might get a nice corporate gym. But that is illegal, and they know it. They know the law very well because this is a bullshit law, bullshit program they've abused. But what has to happen? I have to take an American out. In the least cynical case, I might not have to take him out. I might not have to break his knees if it were physical sports. But I have to overcomplicate it. He can't learn, even though it's my job to train Americans. That's if abused. Which is why former consultants strike me as more snaky in my experience and far less naturally gifted. Because the most naturally gifted either didn't spend much time as consultants or they came here not as consultants. So if I were running this fraud hunt, I would definitely start with consultants or former consultants. And if there was a situation where a lot of consultants got brought on from the same firm to the same American company at once, they're probably shitty. In fact, I would bet on it. You brought in a bunch of consultants from the same firm to your company at one time. I also would be willing to wager those American managers who signed their names and told our government, you have to sign, I forget what it's called with the Department of Labor, a request or it's some paper that you search for qualified and willing to work Americans. There's a business need that cannot be filled with the American workforce, and you need these for the benefit of America. You have to sign that. I'd be willing to wager managers also went on several college visits, which are basically vacation days they don't have to burn PTO for. They interviewed American graduates with no intent to hire, wasted their time so they could come back, check the box, and lie to the government. We looked, couldn't find, but they already knew they were going to give those consultants jobs. So they had to shit on America before having diarrhea on America. Just a little bit of firm poop on the old American flag. And then they had some really bad steak. It was undercooked. Too much butter in their popcorn at the movies because corporate doesn't do shit. Too drunk on the lake, and the next day was diarrhea all over the American flag. Waste Americans' time, give them hope. Expect workers at the American company, American workers, to do the same or be chased out the door. And then hand a bunch of consultants who aren't vetted or might be vetted by a firm based outside of America, those jobs that legally belong to Americans. Boy, wouldn't that be upsetting and bad for the stock price? You might lose every American customer. So what has to happen? I have to have anger issues. I have to be hallucinating. I have to be incompetent. This stuff is too complicated. Dayton thinks he's so smart. Or MDM data manager, I will talk standard SAP because that would be very difficult for a lawyer, a corporate lawyer, to do anything with, though I kind of want them to sue me. It'd be fucking fun. Lose every customer if you want. That's great. It'll be chopped up TikTok content. MDM data manager. An H-1b holder who is not competent and therefore most at risk if these laws are enforced. Well, okay, Dayton maybe is doing what the job requires. Name your American worker. But it's worse because I don't have a tech degree and no formal training prior to my starting corporate tech. But he has extra access. He has some advantage we don't have, which is why he's as good sometimes. And at first I wasn't. That's why I pissed him off. Those consultants, some of them work hard, but then when they get handed a good life, all of them don't. It's just the way it is. They're no more grateful than any even lazy American. They're controlled by their citizenship chances, and I feel for them on that. So I'm just obsessive. I probably have an issue that should be medicated, but I can't stop. Look at my chess.com account. It's not a crime. If I don't commit crimes, if I don't get obsessed over things that are violent or criminal, I can fucking do that. So I would sit in sandboxes after I realized those consultants are kind of incentivized or seem to be not on board with Americans learning. Want me to read a book? I'm like, no, I'll just play in the sandbox. No, read this book. Okay, I should definitely go get my access key. GRC request, governance risk compliance. Again, it should be standard SAP. Oh, this shit's easy. To get decent, like chess or any complicated skill. Getting decent or even good is a whole lot easier than becoming exceptional, going from good to great. Oh, shit. Yeah, none of you are any good. There's a few, but they're above my pay band. This is not hard for a homeless man on drugs to learn. So why don't I keep getting better at it? I didn't know the laws. I was a kid. In my early 20s. Might be on the spectrum, which also isn't a crime. So all my friends would drink and watch football. I would just sit either in the office after work, in the bathroom if Hindi was spoken. Well, see, Dayton, just like with Hans Niemann, you got to find something else because you fucked up. Well, Dayton took too long of breaks. Dayton, there's a number of ways to defend in court, but you have to be attacked. So fuck you, attack me. Well, what if Dave was in the bathroom? Because in the world of tech, one little mistake when I was reviewing code, which was later, closer to COVID, one little oversight, something gets passed and regression was not done properly, I can get fired for that. So I was in the bathroom because they were speaking Hindi. Some. I was working in the fucking bathroom in America because in America we're speaking Hindi and I'm just not fluent. So that's where I was at. Good defense. But I obsessed. I came to really enjoy it. During the loneliest time in history. MDM Data Manager, one example. Well, Dayton has to have more access. Dayton, this is my Scrum team within a much bigger team. MDM Data Manager. Dayton, can you pull this Excel report with these items and this merchandise category code? Yeah, sure, man. It's not sensitive or anything. I don't even have to use the sensitivity flag in Microsoft. Yeah, there it is. Sure, fuck. Don't even need a ticket for that. Okay, well, but Dayton, this code review is needed. Oh, is it? Because I've worked with her when we did hypercare, which is a period where the tech team supports a rollout. Tech team should always support their own shit, in my opinion. And another reason I'm not in that world anymore. You don't roll something out, then dump it off on somebody else. Then it's not likely the tech team would do the best job or the most sustainable job with it. It's not our problem. But hypercare, you make a lot of connections. So this person who supposedly needed this enhancement, RISEF objects, reports, interfaces, conversions, enhancements, forms, workflow. Turns out, in some cases, literally, that request was not made. And in others, it was overcomplicated. It was misunderstood. It was going to be a risk for me to approve. And you're just going to make my life hell while we're trapped inside because I became competent. You're going to schedule Zoom meetings via chat, so it's not as easily. It's not as easy to prove because if it's an Outlook, I have the time, I have the email and in a lawsuit or to ethics. But in chat, you jump on a Zoom call. No, Dane's not jumping on Zoom calls. What's going on? He's not a team player. What's he doing? Oh, well, boss, I told you I was walking my dog at these hours, and if you need me to do anything, or if the team needs me, let me know and I'll change. As the higher ups were talking about during COVID lockdown, adjust your schedule. This is different. This is lonely. All these things, do it for you, and just update your manager. Make sure you're communicating. Okay. Well, my manager's been signing that she needs these H-1bs. I see. I didn't know that at the time. So I'm under the impression I'm supposed to be getting better. I was supposed to fucking fail. And then lead a support team of H-1b holders that she chose. See, because now there's proof. An American, a hardworking American, smart but no genius at all, degree from a state school. He tried, he couldn't figure it out. There's my evidence. Americans can't do it. But I trusted her too much. So like chess, I spent ridiculous time, had fun with it. There you go, boss. But are you sure? Yeah, it's done. It's right. Yeah, I had to teach myself some stuff. I had to not sleep for 2 days, and my dogs are kind of not getting walked like they need to, but I let them out. We have a backyard. Thankful for my new home. But are you happy? Do you like this job, Dayton? Our support team is really improving, and we think that your support role and background in the store. No, I really like it. Yeah, I didn't think I would, but I really enjoy it. Yeah. Well, but Dayton, are there any qualified and willing to work Americans? I don't fucking know. That's your job. Can I go walk my dogs now? Yeah, sure. But any qualified and willing, like, you think there are? I don't know. You think the racquetball gyms will, if we're going to ask silly questions that have nothing to do with anything, do you think they'll reopen the racquetball courts? Because I miss playing racquetball. COVID sucked. God, what's wrong with him? I don't know. I had faith in humanity. He was quiet. We were worried. We were trying to help him. I have forged documents. It was forged. Literally pretending to be the company, signed by one manager. Dear associate. Copy pasted the confidentiality message like I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know if I'm for sure on the spectrum. But again, just like reviewing code in the bathroom, I can't focus when there are two different languages being spoken. If it's Hindi and there are visuals, I can follow the visuals. If it's English, then Hindi, then a mixture, then we're going back and forth, literally, starting a sentence in Hindi, finishing it in English. I'll be in the bathroom because there's too much going on. I'm a different person. And one-on-one, especially with the right people who pause between sentences, he's quiet. He's quiet. And what do you think? I'm on to the next one. What the fuck? When you put a period, you can also pause. When you would put a period in writing, you need to pause your speaking. Oh man. Especially with no tech training, that was kind of creative. Solved an item visibility problem. You got to refine a little bit because he's young, and even young people who do well in tech school, they aren't ready to contribute, fully developed ideas that are ready to be implemented immediately. But shit, that's some potential there. Yeah. But suddenly when you get 5 people and they're all speaking, some are speaking a different language, some are on multiple projects or switching back between projects, I just go to the bathroom. I mean, if you want this done, if you want to play politics, I'll sign up for a networking class or something. No, but you network there, and you got to remember you're always being examined for promotions. Yeah, I'll be in the bathroom because you're talking too much. My alternative was to break the law during the loneliest time in history. And not all publicity is good publicity. I would like to clarify that. There is no psychological abuse like this. You're going to bring someone else from another country. I trained, which means, of course, I'm either more talented, more capable of learning quickly, or a more experienced tech worker, which in my case, that's not true. But in some way, I was better than them. And you're going to tell our government we couldn't find any Americans on our payroll, off our payroll in college who could do the work or learn to do it, which can get gray. Learn to do it is gray. So we'll say could do it, but learn to do it. It's a more accurate representation of how this program was intended to be used. Well, I can do it. I'm training them, and they can't do it. I trained them well, and they're still kind of shaky. Then you're going to, under the impression you're helping a teammate or improving the company, on track for a promotion or raise your annual bonus. You have just trained your own replacement. But not offshoring. They're going to come to your country, walk into a building with an American flag that I pledged allegiance to. They're going to sit at my fucking desk. And sometimes not even update their LinkedIn profile. Because you can take a consultant out of the firm, but you can never take the firm out of a consultant. They will always be consultants. They don't even view themselves as American employees. They're not grateful. They're not some sob story like Minnesota or a liberal governor would want you to believe. In a lot of cases, they had to have some money, an opportunity to get a chance for the H-1b. And I won't sue, just kill me. These are 50-year-olds, tenured professionals. I would say all of them have a tech background. And in other videos, I don't think in this one, crying because of what it did to them during the loneliest time in history. I just turned 25 years old. Like many very young adults, somewhat naive, and we're trapped inside, which has never happened. And you're going to harass my fucking mom and forge documents. Not even going to just let it go if he goes to court and he wins. No, we're going to make an example. And like the Neiman thing, you can have the documentary, you can say there's two sides to every story. They were fishing. The truth was bad. The truth was this. Then you're going to go with my mom, and my friend took his life not too long before COVID. She was very close with Matt's mom. I went to a mental health, like suicide prevention run early in COVID lockdown. I think it was still COVID lockdown. So I was living in Arkansas, I believe. I don't know, it's on her Facebook. What you're going to do is you're going to worry a mom and exploit the motherly instinct to protect her child. So she puts Facebook posts like this one, Together for Mental Health. Oh my God, Michelle is never going to be the same. Matt's dad looks like a ghost at times, I'm sure. And I'm going to do everything to make sure Dayton's not stressed. It's COVID lockdown, so there's more risk factors. Then you get a diabetic mother who's a good mom worried. And this is how bad they want to win. And that's why I just, and I'm just so fucking annoying. Like Hans Niemann in a way, but I don't care as much. I'm not a professional athlete like Hans is. What's he want? Does he want a lawsuit, a settlement? Does he want, what could we do without looking weak? I mean, is eval so he can go somewhere else? Does he want a job back? No. I want you to be businessmen. That's what I want. No, but we care and we contribute and we add value to the world and we're good people. And if you have a disability, we accommodate that. And we don't ever discriminate on any, no. We're a good place and we listen and we make money. And we're ethical and we have a compliant. You have no union. The compliance officer gets fired. Bye-bye. You didn't do what we wanted. No union, no worker rights. And any little rights are at the discretion of the company, which is why Walmart is, I would say, probably the worst union buster in history by everyone's measures, even those who are pro Walmart. It's definitely the most intense, law-breaking, union-busting company of all time. Not even close. And it's an American worker's right to unionize. See, that's how they view it as a country. Sam Walton earned it, or we, call him we. Therefore, it's ours. It's ours. Okay, it's yours, but you operate in America. And therefore, it is an American worker's right to unionize, whether that American worker is ungrateful, a bad person, a criminal or future lawbreaker, someone who can't be trusted and shouldn't be trusted. It is still an American worker's right to unionize. Stalking is illegal, of the many tactics that are popular to get a pro-union worker out. That is illegal. Whether you earned it, whether you're you're the nicest people in the world, it is illegal. They don't care. They don't care. And Luis Almeida, that's stalking right next door, and this is where it gets to a big black eye. Right next door of all the places. BYOD, Bremont, I believe it cleared. A package arrived at my house, but I'm out of town. Could you check? You're checking to make sure I'm home. I'm not collecting signatures, aren't you? It runs very deep. Because all you got to do is be flagged in that world. You're a number, and there's only one way, just like how would America collapse? We're not going to lose a war. Got too much money, too much past success, too much strength in military. You got to divide us. You got to get, pride flags waving at the White House so we can argue about that. And I don't care. But when the goal is just to cater to one group and we're doing joint flyovers, China and Russia are doing joint flyovers in our airspace, and no one's scaring them, that's when it starts to, now we're divided. Now we're arguing. Now we're arguing with ICE, and ICE is scared because, some people might be killing them. And now we've got Democrats, trying to make straight white men look bad because illegal immigrants aren't going to get to vote. And then why don't they get to vote? And why do I get to be here? And then you lose a war. That's what the company realizes too. And I get so mad because they want to get me talking. And if my mom gives them some words, I don't know what she said. You don't talk to a lawyer. They were going to put my mom on a stand during COVID lockdown, and they wanted her anyway, and I'm pissed. That's justification to extend it. Oh, okay, well, his mom's worried. I reported it to ethics, Dayton. Are you doing okay? I'm going to call you now. I'm going to check on you every fucking second during COVID lockdown. Are you sleeping? Well, Mom, I was, and now Dad's knocking on my door because you're worried about me. And that's exactly what they wanted. And that's why I try not to tell you or worry you. But now I got to tell you the details. It's a fucking cruel game. And I just want them to be businessmen. That's all I want. And that hurts because their pride, they believe it's good for the world. And we would never really do anything. Even crazy people think they're in the right, or they wouldn't do it. They love that company. There's so much criticism of it. Kanye West says every superhero needs his theme music. Yeah, they hate us. That's all right. It just means we're doing something right. But sometimes you are hated because you're pieces of shit and you're making the world a worse place. And that's what Walmart is.
Disney employees are suing the company after they claim that H-1b employees came from India, took their jobs, and then they were forced to train those individuals for 90 days prior to getting laid off. Now, this is a really interesting story, especially.
And I'll say this, that's disgusting. I mean, if I were a veteran, I would brainstorm, is there any way I can not protect people who did this to my country? Decision makers, American decision makers, not the H-1b holders' fault. I mean, it's scary when it's not enough for you to be here. You have to get your friends in here and make Americans look bad. You're already here. Hurting me or my reputation, like it wouldn't really help or hurt your citizenship chances. It might help or hurt others coming in on an H-1b visa and also getting a chance. But you kind of already got your chance. So you're risking your chance because you want more white men out and more who look like you in. That is dangerous.
if you delve into some of
But at least they laid him off. I mean, that's how like humorous all this is to me. Like, listen to how cruel this is. And there's a lot of evidence in many of these stories. I don't know if there's been a lawsuit won over it. You know, a lot of times if the company realizes it's going to get in the media, they will probably stop. Iger, Disney's CEO, came out and said, basically without admitting guilt, he was smart about it. But that's too far. Because American people, I mean, you don't want to poke the bear. The silent majority, people like Jennifer Shahade, think they've got the numbers because they can yell and they can blast on Instagram. I would not recommend catering to them because look at the last election. But at least they got laid off. You know, I'm sure a lot have been fired too and just left out to dry. Probably many have hurt themselves and just people thought they went crazy. But at least they got laid off and got a severance.
the downsides of the H-1b visa. Let me give you the details. Now, Dina Moore and Leo Pereiro are the former IT workers at Disney that have sued, saying that Disney broke the law when it hired cheaper foreign replacements, then fired its current IT department. The workers were told if they did not stay and train, they would not get a bonus and severance, which most employees obviously reluctantly accepted. So they make the novel claim saying that Disney violated the anti-racketeering RICO statute by engaging in a conspiracy to displace U.S. workers. The plaintiffs allege that those passports
engaging in a conspiracy, unless those American workers are just insane already. We're actually doing it. An internal audit showed. They can fix it going forward or try to. It's probably not going to get fixed. There's no punishment. But they have to be clinically insane. What's wrong with them? Yeah. We're ready for our statement now. It was a conspiracy. Now they're off the payroll. No one will listen. They don't have access to systems. Yeah. No, we're perfect. Apologize. I don't mean to offend Disney. I'm not that big, but if I get big and this video gets a lot of views, I don't mean to damage Disney's reputation at all. I got a problem with one company.
documents. So there are some caveats or at least some regulations involved when it comes to these H-1b visas. But the whole notion of this visa is there are some very specialized workers in other countries that U.S. companies can really take advantage of. So let's say you are an employer and you're having a really hard time finding someone in that specialized role in the U.S. Well, then it's okay for you to venture out of the U.S. and find that specialized worker in another country.
That's the law.
You grant them the visa, or at least you have them apply for the visa, you vouch for them, and if they get approved, they can come in. But there are some downsides, okay? A lot of these people get paid a lot less than U.S. employees.
That doesn't matter.
And so this is impacting the tech industry quite a bit because these employers are like, oh, this American employee who has 15 years of experience, too expensive. Let's hire that Indian kid. We can pay him half.
So it's not about paying him half. The company is the government. As soon as the government approves it, based on fraud or illegitimate requests, and they went to this college, that college, here's what we did, here's who we interviewed, put them through this test maybe, I don't know how it works. And that was my alternative, is start doing that. It's a good life if you can sleep at night. And even selfishly sleep at night. Like when Trump was in power, man, Trump will send someone to fucking jail. Who signed it? Hey, the company backs you, so we're going to get the company, but we're going to ruin you personally. Who signed it and lied to the government? There's even some stuff by Vance. Basically, from what I read into it, hey, disloyalty. Trump's a big loyalty guy, but at the end of the day, now Trump is representing America. If you had to choose between being loyal to the law and your country and your company, and you were disloyal to the company, we represent you. But the advantage, after the government signs off, whether the need was legitimate or not, the company is now a country, as far as that worker goes. They own that worker with his or her citizenship chances. What they did to me was wrong. During COVID lockdown, who knows? If I could have got out of that situation, got away, got my own living arrangement again, even without any documentation, being tired, going through what these workers explain, that the torment, what killed Daniel Naroditsky. I don't know. I could probably stay with my granny. My mom would have been too emotional while I was hurting. Told my granny's a good listener, played piano with her every day. The real problem looking back and why it will be a permanent grudge aside from involving my mom is COVID lockdown didn't end. So if COVID lockdown would have ended when we thought it would, or even in 2020 at some point, yeah, I probably could have played racquetball again. Could have tried to go on dates again if I wouldn't have been able to save my relationship, which I might have. And imagine trying to tell this shit to a 22 20, or 23-year-old girl, which we're not going to get back together or anything, but she's a good person. And I might not ever get married because in that new house, which was amazing, had a backyard for my dogs, and probably the best 3 months of my life. Both my dogs running in the backyard, waking up every morning. I was young, playing piano, working, feeling like I was contributing at first. Probably the best 3 months of my life. But try explaining that to a 23-year-old or anybody that doesn't work in tech or understand the ins and outs of immigration law. Of course, it sounds crazy. But I might never get married. I will never be trapped, or if a company changes or leadership changes or the law changes, to know I have to have it to keep even the nicest things in life. I will live in a fucking box by myself. Serious. But at least I get to live in America. So I'm not going to go crazy like Luigi or on the rare occasion, someone who served America in some way, gets major trauma and changes. I'll live in a fucking box with an American flag just because, no, I hate that H-1b and it was so abused, it's so disgusting. And some of those consultants, it's not good enough for them to be here. They have to get their friends here. How ungrateful. And I have to hear some sob story where you act like I'm racist. While those straight white males that are 60 literally promoted their fucking Arkansas frat brothers sometimes. Yeah, we had beers and that's bad. Everyone's pissed now. So let the 25-year-old get it while we're trapped inside. We'll be fake sorry later. I would live in a box with the American flag just because I don't ever have to experience what those H-1b visa holders live with every day, which is fear. Which is, hey, it's a nice picture of you and your family. They like in school. Yeah, in America, it's so much better than the opportunities. My kids are excited. They're not even old enough to understand, but I don't want them to be techies. And you're not getting generations of techies. All the H-1b holders, from the most talented to the least, they don't want their kids to have to do that. So one argument, we're not just getting them, we're getting generations of talented tech entrepreneurs. No, you're getting one generation of average consultants generally. And their kids will be anything but a contributor in tech because it's a shitty life. That H-1b visa. They don't want their kids. What do you know? No, I know. I talked to them when I was an intern. And, a lot of interns don't come back full time and very rarely come back on the same team they interned with at a big company. So a lot of them told me more than they probably should have. Drank beers with them on Dixon Street. It's a shitty life. Their kids will not be techies, I promise you. But the advantage is control. They cannot say no. If they say no, or even look at someone wrong, just even a little hint. And I'm not saying this happened, but I'm sure it does. Hey, your kid's like at school. Yeah, that complaint. Ethics let me know. I guess I'll try to be better. Just like your kid seems to be doing better in school. I mean, just a little hint like that. Don't you fucking report me. Now, an American, I'll say, bitch, I'll report you again. You get paid to deal with that. And that's illegal or that's unethical. Or we can talk about a transfer, but you're not going to treat me that way. I have rights here. EEOC, has its flaws, I'm sure. And in some cases, maybe it's just too much work to deal with a lawsuit of the EEOC. But I'm going to do it anyway. Or I'll go away. But you're not taking away my citizenship. The H-1B holders, you're not going to report it. You're going to take it and take it. The advantage is not usually cost. It is complete control over another human. A lot of men died to abolish slavery because it was fucked up. And it's just a different form of it. H-1B visas. So I do have empathy for them. You wouldn't understand how complicated my relationship is with the company, the people on this H-1B, or the H-1B itself, unless you lived it.
When I first looked at this story, I was not buying the lawsuit at all. So for two reasons. One,
This sounds crazy.
I'm a big believer in H-1B visas. It's the legal way, one of the legal ways to come into the country.
Kind of.
A lot of people who really, really want to work hard, live in the American dream, use H-1B visas. We should do more of those, not less, if you ask me. Number two, look, I've had friends who did that this was done to, like 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So this happens all the time. So I guess I've become used to it. And I thought, like, what, like, not what's the big deal, but like fairly commonplace. You're suing over that? Well, if you don't want it, then don't take the severance, right?
Just let America be taken over.
That was the jerk me, right? But then, actually, as I read into the case, I was like, wait a minute. They actually make a really good point.
Yes.
So the point is that the H-1B visas are only to be given if you have to state this in the paperwork, if you cannot find a U.S. worker to do the same job. Well,
and where he's going here. Is H-1B evil? I would say compare it to humans, Furious Junker. Very few things in life are all good or all bad. And I can only speak on how I saw it used in one company. But I would say, if I had to answer yes or no, absolutely yes. So just listen to that gentleman. I don't know who he is, the news anchor of some sort. Listen to his tune change. H-1B, pro H-1B. And then I heard this, and then I saw the law. See, it's not about what I think. You don't need to know anything about me. The most radical, the Tim Waltz, most inclusive. I want to leave a border open. I hate the straight white man. To, I don't know how many World War II vets are alive, but a World War II vet, I mean, he's probably like 10 now or something, who prays to Jesus before bed, and when he wakes up and sleeps with a shotgun, and you will not come into my territory. There's an American flag, damn it. I fought for this. It doesn't matter. That's the law. It's the law. And like Furious Junker asked, is H-1B evil? If abused, it's the law. The problem is not necessarily even the H-1B. It's a corporation doesn't give a fuck about the law. They think they're above the law. They think they're a country. And at worst, they think they will play we'll fix it when everyone else does. But don't hate us. And I say you slaughter one company, and if you can, you put an important person in jail. And then you leave everyone else. Hey, we're sure they were guilty. Some of you might be. But we have bigger, better, more important things to focus on in the future. Now, if anyone else gets caught going forward, even if you self-report it, we will be easy on you and actually follow through with that. Be easy. If a lot of people were breaking the law. But that one person and that one company, we're sure of, and they are fucked forever. And it's all fixed. Have a few points, such as you have to give those workers you fired or laid off a referral, or at least their evals. If you surprised them in any way, their evals. So another employer knows strengths, weaknesses, they showed up on time, and the bias of the H-1B if they didn't get an honest referral several years ago. But it's the law. So you can disagree. We can disagree on anything. Look, America's very divided. Probably not as much as it seems because of social media, but divided on a lot of things. So you can debate the law. You can try to change the law. But as far as the law, if you respect the law, it's been the law. There's nothing new. There's nothing will change when everyone else changes. Now that Trump is enforcing things, we'll follow the law. It's still the law. See, my alternative was to fucking break it. Or you're trapped inside. I was never coached, no paperwork done. because they are so used to doing whatever the fuck they want.
To train him, well, he obviously,
it's almost like he's waking up as any somewhat intelligent American would. It sounds crazy at first look. Surely the corporation's got something, just like Magnus Carlsen. Surely he's got something. He can't do that. He knows. He knows something about the situation in Hans Niemann that we don't. No, he's an emotional crybaby who has probably done a lot more than we'd like to know.
have to state this in the paperwork. If you cannot find a U.S. worker to do the same job, well, if you hired someone to do the job of the guy you're firing, and you told the guy you're firing to train him, well, he obviously can do the job because he's training him, right?
Exactly.
There couldn't be a clearer.
So chess is war. And chess is a vehicle for me. I don't give a shit if chess grows, doesn't grow. I have a high level of respect. I'm very impressed by grandmasters from all countries. Chess has helped me not hate people. A mistake, and I'm not any good. I'm about 90th percentile over the board. I had a good result today or Sunday, yesterday now. See, I'm not any good. And I'm granted, I'm not sleeping. I'm dealing at night, trying to take care of my dog. And this is a faster game. So let's see if I made more mistakes because that was a pretty short game. Okay, so I had the white pieces here. I didn't play a great game. I played fine. My opponent was a move too slow. And this is not a great opening. My opponent sees this knight can control here, which I'm overexerting my pawns. I don't care if an error occurred. Stop throwing things at me. Okay. Load, dude. Load the fucking move. I hate this. But I'm stable. Don't use my outbursts against me. It's just that things should work, you know. Okay, I guess it's not going to show in my lines. I don't know why. But to punish this, the knight could come there. I guess a robot likes this move. I looked at the Grandmaster in Resonance and we agreed. Of course, it doesn't matter what I think it's a Grandmaster, but that's pretty damn annoying and probably more annoying for a human. That's that. And the queen here prevents g4 from kicking the knight. I'd have to play something like g3, which can get uncomfortable. And in the shorter game at my level, which it's not like it's a bad level anymore, it's not exceptional. Castling into that, there's a lot of push pawns. So I gotta leave that knight there. Otherwise the queen and the horse are gonna annoy me and I might never get my king safe. So an opponent at this level should probably see that most of the time. I can't kick it. But didn't. Still, of course, that is a pretty decent looking square for the horse. All right, now you're too late. That's a mistake. And a pretty common mistake. A tier below me, which this is a tier below me. Good player potential. Tier below. Too late. That move needed to be played prior. One move prior. Now let's say, I wish the agent would load. I made an irrelevant move. wanted to continue with my plan, maybe not this move, but getting my horse there on D6. Maybe even something like moving the knight back, getting my horse there. And, eventually I have to take back after horses trade or something, after some moves. Well, if I fail to protect that pawn after I took back, and again, I can't get the damn lines to load. You somehow win that pawn by confusing me with the horse move, even though it was late. And the point is, I didn't punish your mistake. Then is it really a mistake? Yes. A robot says it's a mistake. But a mistake is only as bad as the opponent's ability to punish. So the question, unfortunately, in the corporate world I was in, was not did we do wrong, did we break the law? While we're talking about how hard COVID is and we're a team, word family was used a lot. Friends, neighbors, we're friends and our neighbors. Check on them if there's layoffs. Friends and neighbors. He's dating okay. His mom have diabetes. If I wasn't mom, man, my kid went through a period that was hard. Women in business, women in STEM. But damn, like my son really was close to a bad path. And one person was nice to him, mentor helped him, gave him a job. Do I have to fucking do this, or could I transfer? If we have to break the law, could I transfer? But no, it's can we be punished? And that's insulting. That's where you get a very mean world. Best way I can put it, we do not want the real world turning into corporate America. We do not want the real world turning into corporate America, unlike many Gen Z, and I think I'm running that millennial Gen Z line. There's a lot of ideas that are kind, and I think you can improve someone with a good heart, or maybe they can get slightly hardened by reasonable amounts of adversity. This is unreasonable. But you can't really fix a monster. Unless he or she has not always been that way. And ideally, even in adulthood for a period, was a good person or kind, empathetic. In childhood, if they've been that way in childhood, sometimes it's more ingrained. But generally speaking, it's hard to fix someone that just doesn't give a fuck or has rationalized his or her behavior in the corporate world. They're set in their ways. But with Gen Z, it's like, okay, great. But you're pro-Mamdani, AOC hates billionaires. Like, how do you think a large machine can operate? And though I expect the company would retaliate and even put me in jail if it meant their stock price improves and the story would go away, which is why they waited to see if Democrats would get back in power, and waited. And it's a flexible war plan. They'll say they didn't. They'll say, oh, we all make mistakes. Let's just clear it. No, that's not the truth. You get paid to make a few good decisions per day, at most. It was intentional. It was negligent. There was no confusion at all. They're going to bury it in court, maybe sign an NDA at worst. But do you want Luigi Mangione or do you want me? That's what's amazing about some 60-year-old corporate types. You love your company, I get it. My stance is Aldi sells bananas too, usually cheaper than Walmart. That's great. Do a good job. I'm not saying don't have pride in your work, but at the end of the day, you're not missionaries. You're not Tim Tebow freeing kids from child sex trafficking rings. If you want me to do a cheer, I'll do a cheer. If you want me to act like this is the end-all be-all, boy, you're fucking high, because I'm also watching you replace people with AI. There are robots in many HR structures now, literally, as a human. Soon they will be giving evals and receiving evals. I'm fucking serious. And you want me to love the company the same way you did? When the stock was splitting and you competed with other flawed humans for a promotion? Are you fucking sick? And then you also want my generation to believe you are a force for good outside of just making money and offering a good or service. You're sick. but you think you're going to teach a lesson. What you do is you open the floodgates for me to remind you or ask you what you were like when you were fucking 24, 25 years old. How many times you messed up, how different your life could have been, like the butterfly effect. Had someone not gave you a second chance, and I'm technically still on my first chance. I was never coached. I still have no pride in my name. I had every reason to complain and cope with in unhealthy ways. All I did was get very good at chess as an adult. When many believe you can't really get much better than me if you train, if you're super smart naturally and you train full time for it somehow as an adult, which is hard. And that's all I did. So, and like the social contract or unwritten rules. Yeah, you deserve this, but you also kind of, if you're an elected official, you have to take care of us. You get the benefits, we don't, so you need to do your part. So, like, I don't want anyone to die. I certainly don't want one person or a group of unelected officials determining who deserves to live and not. But one good thing in the long run about the Luigi Mangione case, oh, you want to go with my mom. You want to point at your policies and how rules are important. And we never need to go down that road. No, we never need to go down the violent path unless we start breaking the social contract. You can take it out of your policies. You can lobby Congress to change the laws. But again, do you want me and my ideas? Even in the rare videos I'm yelling. Sometimes it's for content. Sometimes, I mean, they're always my genuine thoughts. Sometimes I'm just fucking hurting, especially during the COVID era. Do you want me or do you want Luigi? Well, we would violence and everything. That wasn't my fucking question. Which do you prefer? You want to teach lessons? You don't ever teach a real lesson that sticks by being an asshole or gaslighting or isolating. That's how you punish violent criminals. Is you throw them in the isolation ward or the isolation wing of the prison. That's what you do. If you have to punish someone who's already been punished almost as much as a human can bear. It is not how you change someone's mind or inspire a generation to be more like you. At best, you'll get like the Marty Fish tennis story where he went insane and he almost lost his life. And he's a winner. He changed. He sure did it. No one thought he could. Wasn't worth it. But unlike Marty Fish, there ain't nobody pulling me in. If chess can prove my innocence in the H-1b case, help me win, and not ever be controlled, make money without being controlled, like I was during the longest time in history, I'll be Marty Fish. And if you try to help me, I don't care if I almost die. I don't care if you were Daniel Nardisky's friend and you genuinely care. You get the fuck away from me or you will never see me. You will never speak to me again. It's my life. When women say my body, my choice, it's a little bit darker. I'm not going to do it. But if I want to do things to my body, whether it be not sleeping, whether it be isolating, whether it be giving my own family a fucking middle finger, then you don't have a say. I will win or will hurt my body trying. I am done with you. Because listen to these people talk, and I was trapped inside. This is the end of a free country. And like I said, though corporate does some good, you don't want the real world turning into corporate America because this is the end of a country. It is the end of free speech. It is the return of slavery in a different outfit. To make me talk, and you can see how I get, which is why I try not to. And in part, I want to make a living as a chess player. Aside from proving I can learn, anyone can learn. Chess is just if then else statements, much more difficult if then else statements, much more ever changing if then else statements, much more stressful, time based if then else statements. It's systems. So of course, a lawyer or any opposition never reveals his or her plan unless they have to. And so it was a flexible plan. It's get him talking, stress him, and now we have to find something else. But anything but the truth. Make him waste time on it. Go to his mom. But at the end of the day, you go to my mom because you need evidence I'm incompetent, and you did actually need those H-1b visas. But that's a businessman's pride, which again, I'm so hard for them to deal with, especially as a young person, because I have a lot of traits and the kind of negative stereotypes of millennials, which I don't think they're always negative, but entitled, opinionated, but also. And my dad's pretty boomerish. At least he used to be until my case and just getting older. Hardware not being valued the way it used to. So why would you anymore? So his change is very interesting. His compromise, I think, is a pretty reasonable middle ground. My dad, the way my dad's become with age, he mellowed out. He enjoys sports more than just always wanting to critique and be perfect, which is a good coach. I can't be a good coach. I can't do things the way I want. So I can either have a heart attack or I can try to find a middle ground and enjoy it. I'd recommend other boomers kind of find that before the younger generation hates you. But I also, I agree there's no other way you can work. And I see the benefits of large corporations. So instead of arguing, you need to care about this, you need to fix it. Any corporation can say, that's in the past, we're going to fix this now. And whether they do or don't, I mean, you got biased corporate people throwing stats and speaking in ways that benefit the company. What you can't really argue with or deal with or fix is I just don't really care. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I just don't really care. I don't want you fucking involved. I don't want you near anything but providing goods or services at the lowest cost possible. I don't want to know unless you broke a law. I don't want to know what you believe. I don't want to know who you are. I don't give a fuck if you're a good mom or dad. You are a different human. You might as well have changed names, be an alien from a different planet when you go from home or church to work. I don't care if there's an American flag outside your home. You are an alien from a different fucking planet. And the only constant between church, home, anywhere else you go, bar if you drink, and work, the only constant is your personality. My beliefs and my character. No. The stockholders purchased that from you. You're not human beings anymore. You're aliens, remember? See, and one can roll their eyes. One can roll his or her eyes. But when I explain, yeah, but Luigi shot somebody. I'm not saying anyone needs to die, even if you don't fix this shit. You don't need to die. Because I wouldn't want someone be the judge, juries, and executioners and decide nurses need to die or teachers. I mean, it's the same slippery slope. More agree insurance is corrupt than teachers are bad, of course. But still, you got one person, in Luigi's case, Luigi, that decided somebody needs to die, and I'm going to do that now. I don't like it. Selfishly, I don't like it. But to have that much pride and to dedicate one's life to something, the butterfly effect, small effects can have a big, small decisions, small changes can have a big effect. I mean, that's pretty much how everything works. Companies share the 80-20 rule. At the end of the day, decisions are made by, the most important decisions are made by a few people. Like in my case, it's a bunch of straight white males. And that's not a good look. And they also invested a lot of money in Flipkart in India as an emerging market. So your business partners, are you going to tell them? And then you're going to send their people home and get their government fired up and pissed off at you? No, that investment would go to shit. So there's a lot of bias, like in Hans Niemann's case. Probably more bias than mine, honestly. So I just don't want you involved. And that hurts them because they want to be America's friend and China. And if there's a war, are you going to close business in other countries? Should there be a war or relationships change, tensions rise? Of course not. So you can't be lobbying Congress in America. That's not even MAGA. That's just common sense. Or if you are going to lobby Congress, you need to figure out all your investments or revenue, however you want to measure it, in other countries. And either our government decides how much extra you are going to pay as a result of any conflicting interest, if it's a more serious conflict of interest, a different fee, however they want to do it. If you want to lobby Congress in America, if you want to influence America, if you want us to think you're helping America, you're going to pay a fuck ton of money. Or run your business, stay out of politics, let voters vote, be robots to the rest of the world. And within your little team and your internal circle, as long as you're not breaking the law, you can let your personality shine. You can talk about your beliefs if you're friends. I don't give a shit. But to want the best of both worlds, to want to be viewed as human beings, Christ followers, patriots, diverse leaders, though. But you're sick. You're sick. To make a young man talk or to even put a young man in that situation at all. And what we're trying to make.
A violation of the reason for the H-1b visa.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I actually think, oh my God, they have an awesome case.
They do have an awesome case. And honestly, Cenk, just like you, I was like, are these visas really an issue? I mean, it sounds great. You want to bring...
Do you want your grandkids to be speaking English or Hindi? The future is tech. Do you want your grandkids to be speaking English or Hindi? It's a huge issue.
In talented people who are going to be productive members of society, they're going to make America great again, right? Like, what could possibly go wrong?
They'll bring their flag
if it's
and put it in Chicago
underregulated, which
sometimes.
these visas are, it could be disastrous for certain industries in the United States.
It could be the end of freedom, like I said. It starts with this. It starts when these debates aren't taken seriously.
So Mother Jones wrote...
Until I'll show that next. There is another country's flag in New York. We're calling New York New-Yorkistan. There's a man chanting in a language I don't understand. And then the only English he speaks is coming to your living room, coming to your city. Your city will look like this on so long. And you will pray to my God. Your little girl will wear what I tell her to wear. And if she says something about Jesus Christ, I'll kill her. And this is how it starts. That's not extreme. That happened. And it wasn't one person. It's a lot of people in New York waving another country's flag, telling all of America we will be in your living room soon. You know, your city is a threat, and that could be it. That could be terrorism. But we're going to be in your living room. Coming to your living room? You think that's okay to say? Man, I wouldn't. I mean, the arrogance and the hatred. If you think, Trump being in power gives white people energy or inspiration to be racist, what do you think a man waving another country's flag, speaking a different language I don't understand, chanting, and telling me you're going to come to my living room and every American city will look like this? You're going to come to every American city and living rooms where families eat. You're going to tell me what to think. You're going to tell us what to wear. You're going to tell us who to pray to, and we can no longer pray to Jesus Christ. And I'm racist if I call that out, and I might get fired from my job if I acknowledge you will not come to my living room. I never shot a gun in my life. If I don't feel comfortable, and I get my career ruined like this or defamed, I can't make good money quickly, I'll drive Uber in the ghetto. I'll do whatever I can. I will hire a full-time ex-military soldier to sit at my fucking front door with a gun And I will have that video ready. And I'll try to, make it fine with the law somehow. Put a sign like no trespassing that gives you some grounds to protect your property. I think if you advertise it, if you come and you try to tell me any of that shit, that guy's going to shoot you. And that's what I can't. I just can't love the corporate life. Again, you can do something good and still be overall bad. But those people that are leading these companies, at least in my experience, I'll say one company. I shouldn't say anybody else. You don't understand that you did this. You don't understand that you'll try to make me out to be Luigi, and you did. For acknowledging that you are giving that your treatment of me and many Americans, like the ones being discussed in this video, you're giving that energy. You're giving energy to not just positive DEI, but for that guy to say the whole fucking world will worship who I worship. Christians don't even say that shit. And in my perspective, a lot of Christians, at least Baptists, which is how I grew up, are pretty radical. They would never say that. They might say you're going to hell, you're going to burn in a fire forever, which I mean, hell's not real. We can get into it. I don't really want to discuss it. Like I'm not going to a fire, but fine. All right. But in this life, the only one I can control, the only one I'm sure of, you're going to come to my living room and tell me what to think. I would much rather have a Baptist who speaks my language threatening me with a fire out of the goodness of his or her heart, good intent to help me. Yeah, all right, yeah, fine. Hell's not real. Whatever. But what if it is? Don't you want to go to heaven? That's, yeah, sure I do. This conversation's over, man. Thanks. I appreciate you care. I'm struggling, and I appreciate you care. But in this life, you will not come to my living room and tell me what the fuck to think, what the fuck to wear, who to pray to, or who to not pray to. And those decision makers who have cheated, and it is illegal, don't even connect the dots. That you're disrespect for the law in your country, thinking you're just helping one company compete. You just can't get mad if it does get that crazy and someone comes to your home or your family's home or your grandkids' home and does that. Because you contributed to it. To lawlessness, to disrespect for the flag. And I really believe this is how it starts. This is the end of freedom of speech. It's how it begins.
This great piece 3 years ago about how H-1b visas are screwing tech workers.
Mm-hmm.
And so
everything
the notion is these people want to come into the U.S. and live the American dream, right? So they're going to be productive members of society, but that's not often the case anymore. It used to be. So what happens is they'll come into the United States, they'll get, the training that they need, they'll get resources that they need, and then oftentimes they leave. Let me give you an example.
They leave, no. Or they send money back home. So another argument in favor of the H-1B is you might have more money circulating. They'll spend their money here. So they'll contribute to the American economy. They'll spend money here, but they probably won't contribute, many of them, and they'll send money back home to circulate in their country's economy.
Computer World revealed back in 2013 that the top 10 users of the H-1B visas in 2012 were all offshore outsourcing firms such as Tata and Infosys.
Which I'm familiar with, Tactical Sourcing and Ariba. SAP Ariba. It was the new hot thing, and I'm 5 years removed from that world now, SAP Ariba. So they're sourcing suppliers, and then that's like a faster version of it. So all those consultancy firms, of course, were on those lists. That's not insider information. Those are the biggest consultancy firms that big tech uses. So So as she was saying at that time, the top 10 users of that H-1B were all consultancy firms, many based in another country, and have no concern whether America thrives or goes away entirely off the face of the earth. No concern about whether that guy comes into my living room with a gun or however he plans to force me to convert to, I guess he's praying to Allah, or whether I stay free. They have no interest. Not bad people, they're just business people with a company based elsewhere, operating under different laws, different culture. And no one thinks they're wrong. So they'll just bring that here and they think they're right. But they vetted these people. And the H-1B, it's not a one-time thing. It can be renewed. And that's usually the goal. You don't just get a green card after your first cycle. Your employer has to renew it after 3 years, which means pay fees, which means, I would say in some cases, depending on the administration, reprove it's needed. Such a fucking mess. So let's say those 10 firms at that time did all the vetting. And then the people they vetted, again, not based on what's best for America, not no American values, they already got their foot in the door. And then they extend their H-1B visa another 3 years. Then those consultants who were originally vetted by a consulting firm based elsewhere, no concern for America. Every now and then, I know it's mostly China and India, but every now and then an H-1B holder could come from an adversary. And now, who would do the vetting? Well, then now maybe they got a green card, or maybe they're an H-1B holder and they're a manager in America. That can happen. Happens a lot. Well, they weren't vetted, but now they're going to do the vetting because it came in the door via a channel that has no interest in America, no concern for me or any American. Now they're here. So how hard was that path? How much did I have to worry about? Sometimes it was fraudulent, and I had to worry about if getting caught for fraud would affect my chances. Well, now, how about an American representative who wants to get reelected? And every American, how about the fraud? I'd like to know about the fraud thing. No, man, that was bullshit. So in spite of the fraud, since it was bullshit, and I know what it's like to go through bullshit, I'm going to do it again. I might double down on the fraud because I don't want you to suffer like I did. You just deserve to be here. And now you got a fucking problem. And now the American corporation is basically infiltrated with possibly average or bad tech talent that nobody vetted. And sometimes I don't even realize it, I would say. I mean, the higher ups at an American corporation did not come up through tech. Tech wasn't important when they were my age and a little older. You're getting into the senior director, VP roles. And if you're fast-tracked, you're probably 35 before you're a senior director. That's if you're fast-tracked. Like, you might be the fucking guy or girl. So tech didn't really matter. And AI wasn't even on the horizon. So they don't care. They're good with people and numbers. They think they can delegate everything else. And maybe everything else they're right, but not tech, not AI. So by the time they actually realize this is a problem and what is happening, sometimes it is negligent. Sometimes they're just like, I didn't want to deal with tech. It's not what I'm good at. Holy shit, this isn't my company. All right, pull a report. How many came from this consultancy firm? I thought we were getting the best. I thought we were looking. They all came from this place? That's based elsewhere? Oh, that's a bad look. But you love that company. And if you don't love it, they're paying your bills, and you're completely loyal to it. American customers can't find out. We'll go bankrupt. All right? And now we're screwed. And also the types, successful people, you got to make a lot of good decisions with numbers and people primarily to climb very high in the corporate setting. So they're certainly not stupid people at all. But also if anyone, especially a young man or woman, acknowledges reality and reality is bad, you're pessimistic. We can't have that attitude because our company is a force for good. We're convinced of it. It's a mess. There's never been a mess like this. And you often hear a person was suddenly happy, going through a lot, felt like a burden, but Suddenly became happy because he had a plan. And man, I have never felt like such a burden or such a or, or how I'm able to attract such an interesting mix of bad luck and good luck. I still don't know if this is good luck or bad luck. I never would have played chess. I like St. Louis. I always liked St. Louis. Grew up coming here for sports games. Never would have played chess or ended up anywhere but Bentonville, Arkansas. But damn, like there's never been a shit show like this. There's never been a dumber policy. There's never been a policy abused like this. And there's so many ways around it. Like, how can you not just transfer me? What was I supposed to do? I mean, you want me to report this shit to a company that's been abusing it? Probably one of the worst abusers, aside from consultancy firms. But also, I mean, the standard is higher because you're an American-based Fortune 1 company. Like, what are the chances? And you get an Indian CEO. Like, what am I going to report it to the people that have literally just cleaned house and got Indians in? And you sent a lot of managers who were kind of fast-tracked at the VP level, senior director level. You send them to another department so you can get more Indians in the hierarchy. You know, who am I going to report this shit to? You know how lonely that is? And all I can really blame myself for, and this is not arrogant at all. Listen to how dumb this is. It'd be arrogant if I said I was always right or I'm always complaining. This is just absurd. I mean, during COVID lockdown, all I could blame myself for was at age 24, which is when I decided to build my house. I didn't take it upon myself to go above and beyond and research various types of visas. You know, but I was at least 3 promotions away from a manager. So from my perspective, 3 promotions, that's a minimum if you're doing really well. Of what would that be? I mean, 4.5 years at least. That's if you get everything right. It's not 4.5 years for him to worry about any of this. I don't care. That's my only thing I can say in this case. I wish I would have done differently. While we're trapped inside, I should have thought forward half years ahead. And really, I figured if I ended up managing, it wouldn't be in tech. So I never would have to deal with this. I don't care. 4.5 years, I don't have to. It's not my job. I mean, it's just stupid. All I could do is the job I was given to the best of my ability. And I accidentally found out this is a complete scam. And the only way I can keep my house, and it's not like I would have been impoverished or anything. My parents would have helped me and stuff. But as an adult, you don't want that. I know now that house was expensive. I don't know that I would have been able to keep that house, but I could have sold it and been fine. But I'm watching my dogs run in the backyard and maybe COVID when I can transfer. It's like the only thing I can do is the job I was given the best of my ability, and it's just a complete scam. Or I can lie to the government. I can break the law. So my only option without breaking the law is the job I was given, which is code. I'll take an SAP exam today, 5 years removed, and I'll do fine. It's just amazing. And Jordan Peterson, among other philosophers, talks about it's not the pain cause. It's not what someone did to you. It's their intent. You realize their intent. And that's what'll give you fucking scars.
And I know that Congress in the past has looked into increasing the number of foreign workers through this visa program from about 65,000 foreign workers to 300,000. Past has looked into increasing the number of foreign workers through this visa program from about 65,000 foreign workers to 300,000.
It must have been the Democrats. Dude, don't do this. See, now she gets sucked in, and now I'm gonna not have a good connection. But ultimately, if I'm still even connected, yeah, nothing's perfect. You don't want mistakes either. Like in chess, I said, a mistake is only as bad as the opposition's ability to punish that mistake. You don't want everyone turning mean and turning into corporate, and turning into the purge. And similar thinking with bugs and systems. I'm trying to Google my channel to see if I'm still recording. It says I'm not connected. Probably another hack. I'm just gonna wake up one morning and suddenly, just like in 08, all those manic idiots were right. She's at the door for a reason. But there could be 1,000 bugs in systems. Until something breaks, it don't matter. But you still don't want bugs, because every bug there's a greater likelihood that everything stops working, or one thing stops working. When one thing stops working, that thing might be used elsewhere. I knew them as classes in tech. Something was in that class, or if that class is used elsewhere, then its class has an issue. It's a bunch of bugs. But if everything still works, at least accomplishes its business function, it might not be working exactly as intended, but if the purchase order still sends and everyone gets paid and the workers get on board and all that. I guess I am frozen, aren't I? Am I? Class has an issue. Oh shit, I'm so good. You might not even know there's a bug, which can be more bugs, or shit getting worse. Even volume to servers, you don't notice it. If it hasn't broke yet, it doesn't mean there's no bugs. It just means there hasn't been one bad enough or in the wrong place that fucks everything. But every bug is still an increase in the chance bad things happen. Like the straw that breaks the camel's back. You don't look for well, I mean, a camel on the ground with his legs snapped because the weight was too much. You look for when it limps. You look for, I don't know much about camels, but it's a pretty good analogy. If it seemed to have some pep. If the warning signs, is it thirsty? Why is it slowing down? See, but in systems, you can't see the warning signs very easily. And if the goal is profit, which in capitalism, it's always the goal, there's absolutely zero incentive. I shouldn't say that. There is zero justification to be proactive and search for those warning signs. You can't see them as we might the camel beginning to struggle before its back breaks and it's on the ground. You can't observe them unless you pay people. You make it a priority. You basically self-report yourself. Like you risk being caught in audits. You agree to being audited more or something. Or you pay your own team to audit, which I know they have teams that try to hack. Like you might hire a team that would try to hack you so that real hackers with bad intentions don't. You might even pay people to try to hack you so you don't actually get hacked by really bad people. But that's very different than catching bugs. A hack, in my eyes, and I don't know shit about cybersecurity. I had to take some classes, but I mean, I pass them. But everyone's going to pass them. In that world, you should be smart enough, and it's not hard. So, like a hack, in my eyes, is it could be a lot of things, but it's probably a design flaw. It's more likely a design flaw. Now, in AI, there might become such sophisticated, different hacks that humans maybe aren't even capable of grasping or coming up with that become common. And that might not be a design oversight issue. That might be just AI is here. And we've never seen anything like this. So humans, even the smartest humans, a team of them, can't really anticipate what AI will learn or how AI might hack or teach humans to hack if it needs human help. But when I think of a bug, I think of a human. A human screw up. When I think of a hack, again, without being a cybersecurity expert, I think it's more likely the human or the developer understood the request, the RISF object was documented, and everything was done properly on the technical end. But the design, so possibly the technical expert and leadership, didn't think it through completely or missed something. But a bug, I think the developer missed something more likely. And a hack was probably the result of more business-minded, strategic thinkers missing something when they communicated with a technical expert who is not writing code anymore, way above that level. So there could be a lot of bugs, and it's not good, but it might not even risk a hack. But it could screw with business. So similarly to how I view bugs or mistakes and just being punished, the number of miscommunications and design flaws or how the systems talk, there's various types of calls. I only knew of API calls. And I'm not that good to where I could set that up. But AI could do that now. Who cares? Yeah. But maybe you use a call that might not have been good. And as a result, the systems don't always hear each other. I don't know. Maybe the more you do that, like to me, I guess, like, it's not a bug if it's a design issue. It's kind of either good or it's not. Like, it's broken or it's not. Systems, it's a green light or it's not. There's no confusion here. One system sent like a cry for help or a cry for a teammate. I'm passing the baton and track. And the teammate or the other system that was supposed to hear it said, "I don't want your fucking baton." Or saw a cute girl or guy in the stands. Saw Austin Metcalf saying, "Get out of my team's tent. And I'm gonna stab your ass." I mean, you sound white supremacist. So either the baton was passed to the trap meter or it wasn't. Is the baton on the ground? No, it's in his hand. He's about to win the race. All right, cool. All right, that guy's running. There's no baton. Why would you do that? It's on the ground. It's very simple. But a bug could be a variety of issues after the baton and the track example has been handed off. You could run too slow. You could run outside the lines. If you were drunk or something, oh shit, I handed the baton to the other team in the other lane. Sounds crazy, but in the case of tech, I mean, you could write the wrong code. You could approve code that you meant to approve a different transport. I don't know. Like hacks are probably more of a result of in the track example, a baton being dropped. It's very clear what the problem is. And the good thing about hacks is you can fix shit. There's a business need to fix it. So you'll get approvals and stuff. But bugs, like until they check the cameras, maybe you didn't step on the line. Problem is you might be celebrating. You think everything's working. Just because it looks good doesn't mean they're not going to go back, review the tape, and find out you're completely fucked. I don't know. I was going to talk about the Neiman stuff, and I watched that chess dojo, the first 40 minutes of it. It's pretty interesting. But it does wear on you. The only solution I have, because just listen to how I talk about this now, of course, before, when it was more recent, I was calmer, I was younger, I was more optimistic. And I hate that I've wasted time on it. And I hate that a company would say, well, that's this long ago, and discount the fact they stalled and they made my life hell intentionally. And are you sure you remember it that way? You know, I guess at the end of the day, anyone could be lying, and the only way to know the truth in my situation would be, well, I mean, that's pretty convincing when you get a bunch of other people saying exactly what I'm saying. But Zoom calls, I mean, Zoom recordings during COVID, I have plenty of evidence, but I don't have schizophrenia. So, well, like watching what it did to Narodisky, I'm not there. And I want to be a crap stealer. So whether I blow up in chess and entertainment and make a living or not, I want to deal craps. It's fascinating. It keeps me distracted. It's one of the only times I don't think about this shit at all from lockdown. I worry what I'll become when I'm older. When you're young, you can take the stress, you can take multitasking, you can take trauma, and you have so much energy, and your brain is so sharp. And sometimes when we get older, that's when issues show up, even if you work through them in therapy or whatever. Because our brain is just not as able to fight the stress, to fight negative thoughts, to distract itself with craps or chess or something positive. And I do worry when I'm 60 or older. I still remember transaction codes. There's just a bunch of them. I've been kind of happier since I've been playing disc golf enough computers, because sometimes in this stream I've kind of gone in and out, and if you don't know anything about tech, you'll really think I'm all over the place. But some of my streams when I'm playing chess, like you don't really want to say to people who don't understand you or your background why you changed or why you had a certain thought. But when I'm playing chess, when I was learning, especially, I'm just saying, like, if then else, I'm trying to talk code, and I would actually like see some of that shit. Zoom calls for a while. When I logged into Zoom, I would see another H-1b holder breaking my stuff, and they're not all bad, but on my scrum team they were. But when I'm young, you're not going to even notice it on me. And I don't really even notice as far as stress to my body or memory, or if I need to go give a speech, look normal, not show any emotion or any any sadness. You never know I've been through anything, because my memory's sharp. I can still organize a speech and talk with energy. But when I'm older, I'm just worried those little like minor memories that creep in. And cyberbullying, just look at Narodisky's case, it's going to be studied. It's going to be a big deal. And it's not just going to be a boomer, roll your eyes, move on, be loyal, suck it up, life's hard, whatever. It's going to be a different thing. It is not embrace change. It is human. Animals were not designed for this. I'm very concerned when I'm 40 or 50, definitely older. Like all that stress is just going to really not just affect me internally, but show externally to the point where not just on streams where I'm kind of going in and out sometimes. But in conversations and when I'm trying to focus on new tasks. Again, I was going to talk and play chess. I'm just a million times happier when I don't. You connect. And I'm pissed that I didn't know the things I know now during COVID when I was starting chess. I'm pissed. I would have gone on Lee chess, but I'm already here. I'm pissed that chess was a way, an objective thing. We can be weird, we can be different, and you're not cheating. As the H-1b case, you gotta find something wrong with me. If I do something well, you gotta find why I have an advantage that I don't actually have. It's more access, whatever it may be. Just my notations, and that's not even good enough anymore. So now I can't get chess.com to load. I don't even know. I don't know what to do. It is connected. My Wi-Fi is connected, dude. How about you quit being a prick? I'm talking to my computer now. And I don't even care anymore. This be the solution. A lot. What are you gonna do about it? You know, let you go to shit. You don't want to contribute to it, but you don't want to be homeless either. And life is short. Those, I don't even think I'm still recording. Just venting. You don't want to be a grumpy, lonely old man or woman. If you get, let's say, 60, 70 good years, good mental years where your body's still somewhat capable too. 20 of those, or maybe a little more, being a kid. So you got about 50 years to really do anything that matters as far as your relationships, making money, contributing to the world. Listen to moms talk about, hey, my daughter was raped and murdered by an illegal immigrant. Yeah, but do you want to fight it and be considered racist? Do you want to risk it being turned around on you if someone like Tim Walz stumbled into power? You want the good life, even if it means that H-1b shit? One of the worst marks you can have in business outside of sports or chess. It's not a cheater. It's a traitor. It's a traitor. Even in America, which of course many people love America. At the end of the day, they got to feed their families. They love their families more than me, and I don't blame them. More than their country, even they love their families. So if Democrats or weasels that want to open a border get back into power, want to punish me for the sins of people who are long dead, that mom crying, unless she has nothing else after her daughter doesn't have any other kids to worry about, she would allow me to suffer. Donald Trump, had he not won, the Democrats would have thrown him in jail. He wouldn't have got to see Kai Trump's ball game or golf games. He wouldn't have got to be a grandpa. He'd be in jail, and they'd make an example of him. And unfortunately, those moms who were crying, "Thank you, Trump. Thank you for saving us and getting justice for Laken Riley," and not that they would have been bad people or disliked Trump, but they're not going to visit him in jail. So. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. I don't even think I'm talking anything anymore. I think this is disconnected. Every time I log in, I try to have fun. When I'm playing chess, I try to enjoy that. But I just can't like I used to. With good intentions, even feeling pretty good. When I start, I get sidetracked, get mad, start seeing flashbacks from COVID when I turn on a computer. I think I just need to touch grass, play disc golf, and enjoy what's left of my prime. Man, if my computer would just load, that would be so helpful. God damn it, man. I lost one game in between rounds today. Can still have a great. Fuck you. Day. Good day at chess. I made it to the disc golf course. I took good care of my dog. More importantly than the result, I talked to myself positively during my chess battles. Didn't complain about being tired. Everything not being perfect. So let's finish it. Let's get our rating back over 20 or 2. 2100. Let's go to sleep. Apparently, I don't have any connection, so. Just win this game, go to sleep. You want asshole. You're ugly. You're an ugly waste of space. Jackass. I hope that's going to be your downfall. Hashtag get pinned. Relatively. Not absolutely. We're cousins, not siblings. That's a bad joke because I'm actually an only child and I'm pretty good relationship with my cousins. So love you guys. That's the sad thing about the future with AI. So I'm an only child. My mom got diabetes when she had me. Of course, there are stereotypes of only children, opinionated, wanting it their way. And the corporate lawyer's job is to win cases. Were you breaking the law? Yeah. He said, she said. Depends on who's in power, which it shouldn't. It's just an only child. Just wants to adjust and learn. Okay, so no, it's do it. Burn the bishop. You know what a bishop is. And now you're going to forget what a rook is. Become your superior. I'm more gifted. I love chess more. I'm more handsome. And I use my rook sometimes to recapture. Every now and then I might use my pawn. But every time I make the best decision possible. Okay. Go faster and win this game that's already won. Good God, Dave. See, I'm so tired. I gotta stop doing this. Fucking lean. I'm gonna put it back over 2100 too. I'll have a pawn. Let's convert this time. Yeah, whatever. Gallop wherever you wish. Clown. How a rook comes thief. I've seen this story a million times. What's wrong with my computer? You gotta love my position. If you don't love my position more, you gotta appreciate my superior talent. Either my position or my superior talent, possibly a combination, will win me this chess battle. Then you blew the last lead. Don't get overconfident. Yeah. Blind squirrel finds an acorn from time to time, and I'm the champion again. Blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and then. Sometimes I accidentally hand him one. But I'm always the victor, even when I lose. It's my YouTube channel. Start your own. Those are the rules. You forgot about G4, you idiot. Just move back where I told you to go. If you're unclear on the instructions, I didn't stutter. It's all your fault. See, these people are so trash. Just completely lost a piece, man. This is 2100. It's a scam. It's a damn joke. Is what it is. Don't you want your piece? It's the only thing better than one piece of pizza. Let's go back to the basics. Two. You want 2 pieces or 1? Is it a piece of pizza? I like this flavor. That's not the point of this lesson, but let's say it's sausage and everyone likes sausage pizza. I guess I want 2. Well, what if you're full? Let's just make sure you understand the concept. What if you're full? Do you want 2 pieces of your favorite sausage pizza for Pizza Hut? Or do you want 1? Is it 2 or 1? Which is greater? It's 2 is better than 1. There's so much time to figure out the rest of my life. It's already got me coming undone. Now I'm thinking 2 is better than 1. I remember what you wore on our first day. Came into my life and I thought, hey, this could be something. Listen, I don't know actually. You might be an idiot. It's not the solution to your puzzle. Maybe you should just give me the device. Quit being a moron. I'm the teacher. I'm the only teacher in a very small town no one wants to move to. Who knows the subject well enough to teach the class? So you can fail, go nowhere in life. Or you can do it my way. Screw it. You're not competent. How about you just give me your computer? Again, small school, few resources, nobody cares. Nobody ever makes it out here to become anything. So how about I'll just take the test for you? Fine. That's one of the many situations that me and enemies often find ourselves in. It's complicated, my relationship with the enemy sometimes. Nah. This doesn't seem right. Back away. I'm your superior. Oh shit. No, I picked the wrong. No, dude. Do not. God damn it. Jeez, man. I split open. Let me turn this off.